You play for obviously for Niners and Raiders. There's some big offseason stories for both these teams going into the offseason. But I'm sorry with the Niners, that's the first team you played for. Would you make Brock Purdy the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
He's an amazing quarterback. Clearly he's going to make a lot of money. Does he deserve to be the highest? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at who won the Super Bowl last year. How much is he being paid? And should Brock get more than him? I don't know, but maybe it's just the luck of when he's negotiating his contract. And one thing I always have felt throughout my career, I'm happy for I'm happy for the guys. And if Brock is able to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL this year and the 49ers are willing to write that check and sign that contract, hats off to Brock Purdy. He deserves it.
The reason why I asked that question is because I feel like what the Dallas Cowboys just did with Dak Prescott, I don't want to say they did the wrong thing because you never count nobody's pockets. It's like you said, it's well-deserved money. Like if you can write the check, do it. But it almost feels like the Cowboys handicapped the roster because they're so top heavy with Dak, CD, and Michael Parsons, but there's no depth at any other position on the roster. So I'm looking at the Niners. If they do the same thing, you might lose a Drake Greenlaw. You might lose a Travis Ward. You might, the list goes on.
That's a challenge. And I always, when bringing that up, I think of a Tom Brady who I think Tom has won 7 Super Bowls and is the GOAT, the all-time GOAT at quarterback. And I think there were always a lot of quarterbacks making more money than him. And, because, he would always maybe take a little bit less to make sure that the rest of the guys could eat and they had the talent they needed to make a run at the Super Bowl.
It's funny you say that because the guy who won the Super Bowl last year, Mahomes, that's exactly what he's doing. The same
Yeah.
thing. The same
You
thing.
know, maybe Brock signs, a 10-year deal, gets a huge signing bonus up front, and he has, 3 or 4 of these early years where the money's a little bit less to help out the team. Who knows what he'll do or how he'll do it? That's up to him and his agent. But the 49ers have a lot of special players. The thing that's attacked them this year is they got
Injuries.
the injury bug,
Yep.
And they got it bad. And and that's just sometimes can be the luck of the draw sometimes. It's like I said earlier, it's a violent game and it's not easy to make it through a season, and to have all your best players be healthy game in and game out.
Now let's talk about the Raiders. They may not be in the Bay anymore, but there's still a huge following in this area for the team. All right. I have like a two-part question. All right. When the season started, I don't want to assume, but it almost kind of felt like Mark Davis orchestrated his roster to where are they trying to win this year? Who knows? But the way they had their starting quarterbacks, it didn't really look like it to me. If they can somehow, some way, trade up for a possible number 1 or number 2 pick, if you're the Raiders, are you considering that to try to get a Shador Sanders or Cam Ward? Or are you going to say, you know what? We'll take the best player available that we need right now, and we'll just take a quarterback later in the draft or possibly free agency. What would you do if you're the GM of the Raiders?
I don't think the quarterbacks coming out this year match what came out last year. So I think they'd probably be better off, going with Aiden O'Connell, picking up another free agent. I'm not sure if Minshew is the guy. So there's a lot of tough decisions that need to be made. But do I see that there is a Mahomes type guy out there that can lead an organization for the next 15 years, I don't see it, you know, but I'm not in the film room every day analyzing every single play. And like we said, you know, how do you, every once in a while, you got to get a little bit lucky too. Do you think the Niners thought when they took Purdy, the very last pick, that at some point he might be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? I don't think that ever crossed their mind. And so you got to get lucky sometimes. And, you know, whatever Mark Davis and his, you know, coaching staff and general manager decides on, I will support because I love the Raiders. You know, they were good to me. I want them to be great. I think when the Raiders are great, the league the league just takes another, you know, giant leap in the right direction. I just feel that.